as always, welcome back to David Christopher's.
Yay.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm David. You didn't say who you were. How do I know?
Just changing it up a little bit today. I'm Jen.
I'm David.
Yeah. See, you were just ready for the prompt, right?
Yeah,
you knew
I
what
don't.
to.
My cue cards were
messed
in
up.
reverse. Yeah.
So we are here today, and we are excited because it is really Christmas time all year long here at David Christopher's, but especially now because it's October and we are having to gear up to get our retail store ready for the holiday season. And you can tell by this wreath that it is very Christmassy. It's like a little tinsel time, Dr. Seussy.
Yeah.
Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, I think today we're going to be...
or it's not a wreath, it's a teardrop. But
yeah, we're going to be kind of playing off of Grinch and doing a lot of red and whites with our bright greens and very whimsical, very Dr. Seuss. So that's kind of what we had in store for today.
But no Grinches allowed. Unless you're the one that's heart has grown, how many sizes?
Oh, I thought you meant because of copyright rules.
That too.
I was like, that makes... No, we can't actually have a
No,
Grinch.
we can't because it is copyright. But you can be inspired. And we're inspired by Dr. Seuss and his whimsical world and the story of the Grinch. So today, this wreath, I call it a wreath. It's a teardrop.
It's something you can hang on your door,
Yes.
so it's obviously a wreath.
Yeah, I'm going to call it a wreath.
Yeah.
So now I've got that song in my head. I always have a song in my head.
She does.
But that they placed a wreath upon his door. Remember that one?
Yeah.
He
That's
stopped
super sad
loving her.
for this whimsical.
I know. I'm sorry. There's always a song that goes along with the moment. I know I'm not the only one out there.
Wreath on a door, automatic. So.
Yeah. 90% of my brain is song lyrics, so I can't help it. But anyway, we are going to jump right on in.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding this giant branch, I know, which doesn't make a lot of sense to our teardrop, because like I said, we're going big and whimsical and fun on this one, so we're embellishing this teardrop quite a bit. And I usually use a lot of these for Christmas trees. I stick them in sideways and then I'll, you know, hang ornaments out from the side of them. But for this, we're really just going to add this down kind of low. And we're just going to push this in very close to the center and twist some pine around it. And we'll just curl the stem. It's a little heavy on the back end, on the top part, but we'll curl that just a little bit and that'll be fine. It really is not going to matter too much. We'll add another piece of twisted pine around it just for extra security, but as long as you go around it in the middle where one of these branches is, it won't be able to slide down anymore. And we'll come back to this in a little bit, but we're just getting started. That's going to be the very beginning. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding this white confetti ribbon with these red and green it's kind of like mixed sequins in it. Some are white, they're just all kind of different colors. But we're going to add some of this in because we want to have that green really pop. So we're going to make a bow. We're going to make this pretty large. So those are our first couple of loops. So we're going to start pretty good size bow here. Like I said, we're going pretty big with this one. And really, that's about all we need to start with, is we're just going to do those 4 loops. Don't need anything hanging down, so we're just going to cut it short and grab a wire, and then we're going to add this to some other ribbon. We're going to stack some different varieties to give us some more color. And while we're on the subject of ribbon, if you are looking to buy ribbon from us, I suggest go ahead and buy it early because we are selling out of a lot of different styles, and we may have an issue because one of our ribbon containers may be stuck at port in this strike, which is not good for us. We need to get that in so we can get it out and ship it, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it. We just have to leave that in God's hands. He will take care of us. So we've done everything we could do to try to get that out, and it looks like we're in limbo at the moment. We don't know for sure if it's stuck or if it made it out onto a train. So hopefully that will end soon and be resolved, and we can go on about our daily lives.
Probably do want to mention though that our hearts and prayers go out to those in the eastern part of the states who have faced devastating flooding. It's just been so sad to see some of the videos that are coming out of the destruction, but then also the people that have lost loved ones and friends or can't locate loved ones and friends, and it's just been a very heavy situation.
And we love Western North Carolina so much. We've been there many times. We were there last Christmas. We were in Asheville with our kids because we wanted to experience it at the Christmas season, and it was so nice. We really had a great time, and our hearts just go out to everybody. I've enjoyed going trout fishing in the mountains in North Carolina many times, and it's just really sad to see everything. So our prayers do go out to everyone there. It's been really difficult to watch some of the locations you recognize and see all the terrible things that they've been through. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stack these. We're going to put our white on top of our green.
Is there a certain gauge of wire? Sometimes people ask that question about what size wire you're using. I know you sort of just grab whatever we have around, but...
Amanda at the retail store recently requested 21 gauge wire. I've got to get her some 21 gauge wire, but I actually prefer a little bit lighter than that, so I usually go with like a 20, I prefer somewhere around 22 to 24. It just kind of depends. I guess part of it's personal preference. Everybody likes something a little bit different. I don't necessarily need it that thick. I know Amanda's talking about if she ties like really, some of our ribbon does have really thick wire and a lot of starch in it, so it is, it can be difficult to get it really tight. You just kind of have to pinch it and pull it really hard. But I prefer it a little bit lighter, so I go with kind of a mid. 26 is about where people don't want to use it any softer than that anymore. And 20, I poked a hole in my finger with the wire from that ribbon. So it's stiff enough that I can poke a hole in my finger with it. Band-Aid time. So rule number 1 of floral design is don't bleed on the merchandise, especially if you're working with white. Had a situation with some polar bears one time that got a little red on them. And they looked like they were out for blood, literally. That's you get like some large polar bears and you start bleeding on them. That's a horrible situation. So just know that you don't want to do that. Don't bleed on the merchandise, especially
you should always
white.
have Band-Aids.
Well, I'm about to soak through this one. I poked a pretty good hole in my finger.
Yeah, in your floral room, wherever you're doing your crafts, you have to have a box of Band-Aids.
Yeah, or you do the florist Band-Aid and you just put a paper towel on your finger with a little floral tape. That works too, just so you know. So now that we've gotten our red and white really far down, we want to add a little bit of more of this green further down. So we're going to add this glittered sequin pine just to kind of fill in some of that green space. I know it's glittered instead of metallic pine, but it will work just the same, just to give us that color down there so that it's not red, white, and then green with red and white. And we're just going to end up blending all of this together. We're going to use some of our curly red and white stems to add in. So we're going to need some of that at the top. And then we're going to need some coming out the sides. Like I said, this is going to be kind of large. So we are going to go into the sides, and we really just want to stick this wire down, for the most part, the center of the teardrop. And we're going to pull those curls out a little bit more. And then once you have added that, once you've stuck this stem down toward the center of the teardrop, we're really just going to take the metallic pine and make sure we wrap some of that around the main branch, and that will really help with the security of that piece. Now we've got our red and white kind of throughout our piece. We want to add a little bit more green. We're going to extend this out to the sides and up kind of out the top because we got some red and white sticking out the top. We're just going to take this apart. You just grab, hold the main stem, pull that little branch, and it should come off. I'm going to cut this one so I get a little more stem on it. And then we're going to add a little glue. We're going to go right down into the center, add a little piece of tinsel pine around that so that it holds securely in place. And we get our green to extend a little further up. Then we're going to go out to the sides with our other two pieces. It gives us a little bit of that red and a little bit more of that green on the outside edges. And these don't have to be symmetrical. In fact, it's perfectly fine if they're not symmetrical. And now we're going to do another bow, but slightly smaller, to go in this vicinity. We want to bring some of that ribbon down, and we're just going to do a smaller version. So our loops are going to start a little bit smaller, but we're going to use the same ribbons and stack them. And so I may do fewer loops with the smaller version, but I am going to leave a little bit of a tail because I want some of that to come down. And if you have more questions specifically about ribbons and bows and things of that nature, we do have a ribbon and bow playlist on our YouTube channel. So just go to David Christopher's YouTube, playlists, and it should be there somewhere in that area. I love this super lime green velvet. A lot of fun to work with. Really like using a lot of different textures in ribbon. Makes a pretty big difference when you use some glitter, some not glitter, some soft fabrics, some metallics. That makes a big difference. I hit my finger.
Where?
Where I stuck a hole in it.
Oh my gosh.
I jabbed the wire right into the bone.
Oh my gosh.
Like a bruise on the knuckle of my finger. That's great.
Who knew that tying bows could be a hazard?
Gotta keep going. Gotta take one for the team, keep moving. Now to stack these, we're just going to go the same order as we did before, and try not to poke a hole in our finger this time, because that was no fun, I will tell you.
We didn't tell people why we were so dressed up today.
Oh, we had some other photography things going on.
Yes, we are going to be featured in our local newspaper's magazine in the holiday edition. So,
Of course.
yeah, of course. They called and interviewed us, interviewed David about his design process, how he got started, all that good stuff. And then visited us this morning to take our photos. Or photo, I don't know how many photos are going to be in the magazine, but I wore my bright red Christmassy shirt, and David doesn't have anything in his closet that is red.
I choose to make everyone around me shine. So I wear dark colors.
I love dark colors, but I do love a good red.
You do. Every night, and you bought a dark colored vehicle, and then you're like, but look at that red.
Mm-hmm. Red was my grandma's favorite color, my mom's mom. She loved red, and she looked great in red. It looked really pretty with her hair and skin tone, and we always knew her for her red lipstick, her red blouses. So I always think of her. And I also think of Lady in Red.
And you may notice that I only used one tail for each ribbon because two would be a little too much. I would start to hide a little too much of the other things that were already in the drop here. So we're going to add those. We've got to thicken this area up in here, but we want to leave a little bit of a gap so that we can still add some things. But we're moving right along. And now I'm going to add some of these sequin fabric balls. They've got like a little, almost like a velvety fur underneath them. It's like a fur sequin fabric. And I'm just going to add a little piece of wire and wire those in. Maybe not poke another hole in my finger. And then we're going to add a second one really close to the first one. But we want to go a little further down and to the other side with this one. And the more of these wires that we stick through the teardrop and twist in the back, it will actually help hold everything together, even the other items that we've added after the fact. But we want to get a little more red in there. That ornament's going to really help with that. And then we're going to add one down here at the base. Now we're going to use these fun sequin pieces that have this, these sequins are actually layered onto a really thick fishing line, so they can't come off. So if you're one of those people that really doesn't like a lot of glitter, the only actual glitter this has is the little ball on the very top. But it works really well to just extend some of our red out from this wreath. Flew it into my stem there. We're just going to add a few of these, give us a little more red out from the sides. Just make sure you get a little piece of the teardrop so you can let that secure that on to that teardrop a little bit better if you rather than just gluing it, if you'll put a little piece of wire on it. And then if you don't like glue, don't want to use glue, you can always just wire it in. You don't actually have to glue it. Now we're going to add these super bright lime green balls because they just work so well in our color combination right now. Getting a little harder to get fingers back there. The more and more we add. Just a little funky green.
And I would say if you like this teardrop theme, look at our Christmasville collection and you'll find all these items. I'm going to create a collection as well, like I always do, so that you can find things easily. But if you're looking for even more decor that matches this theme, check out Christmasville. I'll link that in the description as well.
And if you're ever pulling too hard on the top of an ornament and it wants to let go, you can always just add a little bit of glue up underneath there before you stick that back on. And then when you tug on it, it should stay more in place. Sometimes when you cut a wire a little too small and you're trying to pull it a little too far, I got one more. Add a little lower. I'm going to add some down here on this branch. We've added a lot of glitter and sparkle. Now I'm going to add some of these really fun pom-pom branches. We're going to go into the center again with this. Find how to get it in there. There we go. And I'm going to bring some of this kind of into the bow. So since these are nice and wired, you can pull those around, add them wherever you need to. Let them go different directions, but break up some of that glitter and soften it up, make it a little more playful. We've got a couple more of these to add. I'm probably going to cut this and add it kind of throughout the teardrop. So if I cut it up, that lets me even it out a little bit more.
So you're going to use 2 of those?
I'm going to use a third one probably.
But
like
cut
I said,
apart?
We're going Texas sized with this one. Yeah. It's like a Texas sized corsage.
Corsage?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, if that's on your arm. Or
They wear them like on their dress. You should see it. It's something. I don't know if they still do that, but I remember back in the 90s or early 2000s, those things were like that bow would be like here, and it draped down to the other side, another bow. It was something.
If you're from Texas, let us know. Would you wear a corsage this large?
Have you worn a
Have you worn a corsage this large?
Yeah.
And if you have, we want pictures sent to our Facebook or Instagram account.
Yeah.
I want to see.
I've seen them before. Some of the ribbon companies would show us pictures of like, this is what they do in Texas, and we're like, man, that's a lot. But they say everything's bigger in Texas, so
That's what they say. I've always felt like I could rock the Texas hair, especially when it's humid, because mine grows. Like the Grinch's heart, my hair grows 3 sizes Larger.
Like the Grinch's heart. And we'll get some down here in the bottom. Getting a little tricky down at the base to find some pine to wrap it in, but find something.
I know you're going to be making some people super happy with all this ribbon.
Well, we do some things without ribbon, some things with ribbon. A little all over the place. And then I love these these yarn Christmas tree sprays. These are super bright, funky green, and they just make me think of little Grinch Christmas trees, like for Whoville, because the Whos are this big, I guess.
Their size Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like what the Grinch's body is made out of.
Yeah, that's what his fur is this bright and funky green fur. And one of the great things about the trees is if you want to like curl them, you can let them bend in any direction that you want them to go. They'll just kind of, since they're nice and wired, they'll just bend however you want. And so we got to get some of these down in the middle here. So we are almost done. I know some people are thinking you could have been done a little while ago, but we're still adding just a little bit here and there. Sometimes you want to go a little over the top. We're adding these little ball sprays now. Give them another little texture because they've got that shiny and matte finish to them. You can never have too many Christmas balls, ornaments, baubles, however you want to say, for a Christmas arrangement, a tree. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to take some of these branches, because this branch was so kind of flat that we're just going to bend some of these and curl some of these pieces back to make them like little kind of candy canes, a little more whimsical. The pieces that are showing really, really wide here, we'll just take those and kind of spin those around. Just because they come straight doesn't mean you can't curl them. That's a lot of the fun of some of this wired stuff, and it makes them super whimsical when you give them some of this curl.
Thank you for being here with us today. If you like this video, make sure that you like and you subscribe, because that way you get to see more videos like this, and we have a lot more coming this season. Remember, we sell wholesale and retail. You can check us out online at shopdavidchristopher.com. We'll be happy to help you in any way that we can. And happy early Merry Christmas.
Early Merry Christmas, yeah. October Merry Christmas.
Yes. May we be the first ones to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's a little early.
Oh well.